everyone, Renee here. So I have a Japanese drugstore haul for you. Probably one of my favorite kind of videos to do, and really I haven't done one in forever. I went to one of my favorite places, Matsukiyo, because you can just find everything there. And I mean everything. I love Japanese drugstores because other than, my staple favorites that I keep going back for, I will always see fun things that I just want to try. So because everything was bought in store and some of these are relatively new releases, it may be difficult to find everything online. But where possible, I will do my best to provide links for you for as many of these as possible. So one of the first things that caught my eye is from a new brand, or at least completely new to me, called Skio and their vitamin C serum. So Skio is a brand from Roto Pharmaceuticals that has some of my personal favorite formulas in existence. Obviously the Hada Labos, but also Milano CC. In fact, they kind of have the market on really good ascorbic acid formulas. They also are responsible for all the Obagi vitamin Cs as well. So you can understand that I have to try this. This is a quasi-drug because of the ascorbic acid ingredient, but also this contains salicylic acid as well, which is, a great combination, especially for oilier skin types. It's all about brightening and evening out the skin tone, fading pigmentation. There's also a bunch of clinicals that they did that, show the efficacy. If you love Milano CC, the application experience of this is almost identical. This uses a dropper format, whereas that has an ingenious, droplet format. With the dropper though, I do find myself applying more on my skin, so you do have to be cautious of that. It has the same initial, almost oily texture for spreadability, but then it dries down really quickly again to a matte finish. This has a base of green tea extract, which I love for that extra powerful antioxidant boost, as well as just the brightening. This also contains another antioxidant, vitamin E, and it has the same kind of citrusy scent to it, but it does not come from essential oils. It's just, I think, a citrus extract. I believe also that there's technology in this formula that allows it to actually absorb better into your skin, not just for the ingredients in this serum, but also for oncoming ingredients as well, which is why this is meant to be used right after cleansing before anything else, which is the way I use my vitamin C serum anyway. So far, this has not been disappointing, and it hasn't caused any reaction on my sensitive skin. One of my recent favorite brands is Chifure. I talked about their washable cold cream in my favorites maybe 2 years ago, but everything I have tried from this brand has been so good. You really are getting such good value for money. I still can't get over the prices, and this is something that I constantly restock. It's a staple for me. I love that the formulas are super simple, very gentle, great for sensitive skin. They don't have any harsh ingredients in them, but at the same time, they just have the most beautiful textures. And besides the cleanser, I am always repurchasing their BB cream, which is the best. It is my favorite. This is so surprisingly elegant that between this and my Kokendo Moisture Foundation, I'm using this. It glides on like silk. It's not heavy coverage, but it just subtly evens everything out and makes it look better. It just really looks like skin, but good skin. So they newly released a line of moisture lotions, and we all love Japanese moisture lotions. So of course, I really wanted to try it. There are a few versions of this, from light to normal to moist to deep moist. So I figured I would try the moist version. Again, this is a very simple formula, only 15 ingredients in the moist version. There's no fragrance or alcohol. This is gentle. This has the humectants, mainly glycerin, but also sodium hyaluronate and trehalose. But this also has the emollients to keep the hydration in the skin, just to seal everything in there, which is important. Even though it is the moist version, it's still super lightweight. These formulas are great for anyone who just has some basic hydration needs and they want something that really works, but it's not too much. I think it's great for teens, anyone in their early to mid 20s, or anyone who just doesn't need a lot. For me though, I'm at that point where I just need more. I don't just want hydration, I want some serious bounciness. I want volume. So another vitamin C formula with a very unique application. This is also labeled quasi-drug because it uses ascorbic acid. It's the Acnes Labo White Cream with Patch. So this is different in that it's an overnight spot treatment for areas of pigmentation. So whether it's PIH or PIE, of course, brown spots always take a lot longer. I've been told it's really effective post-acne. So if you have those remaining red marks and your acne is gone, this really works well at fading those marks faster. So you have the spot treatment cream, which really does feel quite strong. The main active ingredient is ascorbic acid. There's also vitamin E, as well as some plant ingredients that are effective at fading and evening out the skin tone, fading hyperpigmentation. This also contains ascorbyl glucoside, which is a vitamin C derivative that is also quite effective at evening the skin tone as well. This is not recommended to be used on your whole face, although I actually find the texture really nice, much nicer than your typical sort of non-water-based, silicone-based vitamin C formula. And by the way, this doesn't contain silicone, no fragrance. This is also a vegan formula. This was developed with dermatologists and also went through testing to be safe for sensitive skin, although you always want to patch test first. So this is a nighttime treatment used on clean skin. You just apply the spot treatment and then apply the silicone patch over it. Remember though, this is not an acne treatment. I wouldn't put this on any active blemishes. I would just wait until everything is healed up, but you're left with the pigmentation. Of course, I picked up a couple of sunscreens. In fact, the first thing I see when I walk in is a wonderfully strategically placed wall of sunscreens. Gotta love that. I always love the displays that show the top sellers. And of course, other than all-time favorite Anessa, which by the way, has come out with some really cute Doraemon packaging, as you can see. One of their best sellers is from Matsukiyo Lab, so I can only assume that's in-house. And they have a brand called Freelab Plus, and I got their UV Essence. So this is about being gentle on the skin with very high UV protection. This to me is a hybrid formula. It has 70% skincare beneficial ingredients, which includes niacinamide as well as collagen tripeptides. Usually when a Japanese sunscreen has UV essence, I expect more of an essence-like texture, but this is very creamy. It's moisturizing, but it's, you know, quite silky and beautiful. So this really is more like a very good moisturizer with high protection. This doesn't really have a discernible scent to it, at least not to my nostrils. And I would also be cautious if you are a darker skin tone, because I feel like there's a little bit of a tone-up effect to it. This probably has a mix of mineral and chemical filters. So one of the newest releases, I believe it's just been out for about a month, that really caught my eye was from Kosé's Suncut, their Prodefense line, all-in-one UV mousse light up with an SPF of 50 and a PA of 4+. When it comes to serious sun protection, you all know that I often opt for Japanese sunscreens. These are for the times where I'm getting way more than just incidental exposure and I need some serious resistance. So the Prodefense line was one of the first lines to actually come out with antiperspirant technology, which means what you think, in that it claims to not just be more resistant to sweat, but also provide some control of it as well. I usually stay away from this genre of sunscreens only because I feel like it's going to give me a cast, but I have been trying some of the later ones, like Ali sunscreens came out with a whole bunch of different tones, and I have to say that this new evolved light up and tone correction type of sunscreen effect is really quite flattering. So this comes out as a really rich foam, and you have to be careful not to use too much because it will liquefy upon application, and it liquefies beautifully. One big focus of Japanese sunscreens is even coverage, and application needs to reinforce that. So this actually reminds me a lot of one of my favorites, Anessa UV Melt Milk. It's not white casty, but there is a bit of brightening. This does have a good mix of the mineral and chemical filters. It works similarly as Anessa does on my skin. So if that is a sunscreen that works on you and you don't have issues with cast, then this would work for you too. So this is an all-in-one hybrid formula. It's got about 64% skin beneficial ingredients in it. I've used this in place of moisturizer because it is surprisingly moisturizing considering it's not creamy. My skin feels really soft and moisturized. This also has their signature technology, Alligard, which protects the skin from any airborne environmental stressors. So pollen, dust, pollution, it prevents it from just clinging onto your skin. This also is a very good makeup primer. So yeah, I've been enjoying this. The application is really kind of skin-entertaining. From Sekkisei, I picked up from their Clear Wellness line, their Moisture Protect Mist. I love this Clear Wellness line. It really is geared towards people with sensitive skin or those who just have a preference for more simple skincare. They also use about 85% of natural origin ingredients as well, but it's just, you know, really kind of simple. Uses a lot of Japanese plant extracts, but also TCM ones as well. This is my latest addition only because I find the packaging is just dreamy. I just love how portable it is, and that's specifically why I got it. I also just really love the formula. It's so extra satisfying when you're initially drawn to something because of the way it looks, and then you find out what's inside just really lives up and maybe even exceeds your expectations. This has their moisture navigation complex. What that does is it nourishes and hydrates your skin barrier, strengthens it, calms it, but also it forms a protective seal, a barrier or veil that not just keeps the good stuff in, but keeps the undesirables out. So any airborne dust and particles and pollution. I find this very hydrating, super refreshing, and without heaviness. You know, the mist is not the finest in existence, but it's fine enough. It's hard to resist a wrinkle lip essence. I just really wanted to try it. But also this line, the Retinotime, from its name, as you can tell, is all about retinoids. This has some really legit ingredients. It has niacinamide. It's got a vitamin C derivative, ascorbyl THD, which is probably one of the most popular ones and great at brightening. The form of retinoid is retinol palmitate, which is a weaker retinoid, but I mean, this is for the lips. I'm fine with that. This also contains peptides, which is always a good thing, and it does contain mineral oils, which forms a protective layer over your lips, but this formula is not sticky at all. In fact, it is very, very long lasting, and it has a nice, pleasant natural scent to it, sort of citrusy. So something else I saw, and I just really wanted to try it, are these neck patch strips. This is also Matsukiyo's in-house brand. 5 sheets of 2 patches to be worn overnight and applied over your neck folds. I've tried this a few ways, but I would recommend it be applied on clean skin. These patches already contain skincare ingredients anyway. They have moisturizing extracts, vitamins, minerals, and all that. So when I remove these in the morning, inevitably, after 8 odd hours, my skin is so much smoother. Not just the horizontal lines, but the vertical ones as well. And this does actually cover quite a bit of surface area. So unfortunately, these are temporary results. So I just have to make sure I follow up with some good skincare. So one of the best sellers in the store was this nail serum. And, to me, that's not exactly exciting. I don't really care for my cuticles the way I really should. I just had to know why this was such a hot item. So I got the Skin Cotton Nail Keep Serum. The skin around my nails are awful. There's always things poking out and sticking out. And every once in a while, between gel manicures, I like to let my nails breathe, and they are in such bad shape. But I hate the fact that everything I've come across for the cuticle or nails is oily and thus really invasive. The last thing I want are oily fingers. The texture is a really thick hydrating gel that's not drippy, but it sinks in after you apply it. It just absorbs into your fingers. Skin that's poking out just kind of gets stuck right down. But also on my bare nails, it makes everything look stronger and healthier. It also works on top of manicures as well. But this is so great for fragile, weak, brittle nails. This contains biotin. It's got eggshell membrane extract in it. This does actually contain a nice mix of oils like argan, jojoba, squalane, but it's formulated in a way that's just not oily, but it does keep the fingertips moisturized and just looking really good. Favorite hand cream right now is from Kosé, their Coenrich Q10 Extra Guard Medicated Moist Shield Cream. So I love that there's a whole line of these hand creams, one with tranexamic acid for, pigmentation of the hands, ones that are more creamy, ones that are less creamy, ones for overnight. So this one I love because it has the intensity that I need for my hands, which are perpetually really dry. So I'm always washing my hands and I need something really, really intense. But at the same time, this is not heavy at all, but also, and one of the best parts, it almost has a blurring effect on your hands. So even when my hands are looking really witchy and almost like tree bark, this just smooths everything over. But what's really unique and special about this over any other hand cream I've ever used is its sheer lasting power. This is resistant. This stays on your hands. It keeps your hands very moisturized. First of all, this is very, very water resistant. So even after I've applied this for a few hours, even when I wash my hands with soap and water afterwards, my hands still feel moisturized, but not greasy moisturized. It's not dried out. I feel like it's still working. And that is very, very special. This really reminds me of the kind of resistance that the Japanese sunscreens have, which, through friction, even with sand, through friction, through humidity, through water, through sweat, it just stays on. And it's this kind of the same way. So I need to talk a little bit about this magic hair stick. It is the Utena Matomage hair styling stick. So I've been experiencing a bit of hair regrowth lately. I have a little crown of baby hairs sticking out. I have been talking about my sort of scalp care journey recently and my hair regrowth journey. So it is actually working. But also where I happen to be right now is getting very, very humid. So I found myself looking at this whole entire section for micromanaging your little hairs or just spot treating and making sure everything is just sort of perfect and seamless. I have to say, this is one of those little magical products that when you apply it, you literally see everything behaving instantaneously, but without any waxy residue, without any heaviness. It's just completely lightweight and it doesn't weigh your hair down at all. But also you just don't need a lot, just one go of it, and everything just behaves and sticks down. This is so much better than hairspray. Forget about gel. When I put my hair in a ponytail, I just use this and everything stays in place despite how humid it is and despite how stubborn my little baby hairs are. There's no scent to this and it is utterly weightless. It dries down and stays in place without there being any crunchiness, change in texture. It's so good. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my little shopping spree of repurchases and new things that I've just been curious and wanting to try out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye!